with some discoveries, and I've if you don't already, you should watch Jackson Crawford's YouTube channel, link up here. But I've never seen a man so excited when he found out there's a new inscription with the word with a name of an ancient god on it, and that ancient god is Wodnaz or Wardnaz, and it sounds like Woden because it is Woden, but it's the oldest version of Woden that we have. People using linguistics have reconstructed the pre-English name, or certainly the name given by the people wandering around the German forests, and we thought it was Wodenaz, but we have an inscription that says Wodnaz, and that name means frenzy, madness and anger. And how bad must things have been to put at the head of your religion a god of frenzy, so-called wisdom, and that wisdom is the opposite of what we might think of wisdom. It is shrewdness and trickery. This is one of the reasons why we should thank our lucky stars that the Romano Greek ideas came to the forefront in this country. But he's out there in the landscape, so we know very little about the English religion apart from pretty much names and names of places, and we can reconstruct them and compare them to the Norse. But just how bad must it have been to have the very epitome of your culture based around disorders of the mind and violence and anger. But anyway. Charter of Tarrant Hinton, and that's the beginning point of our journey. I'm on Pimpern Long Barrow, Pimperne in the charter, and this is it's described on the internet as being a magnificent example, and I'm still on it now. It is magnificent. But it's not like West Kent Long Barrow with great big monoliths. There may well be stone kists and chambers, probably not. There may be kists, probably not chambers. Kists are like a grave with walls of short stones, not very tall stones, and where burials took place, collective ones, not singular ones. But it may very well have had chambers made out of wood that have collapsed, obviously. But there are wooden long barrows and stone ones. There's another barrow over here. And that. and that is a couple of thousand years later, and that's a Bronze Age round barrow. So this is, they do like in prehistoric times putting monuments where people can see you, or you can see them in the afterlife, I don't know. But this cemetery, if two burials can be called a cemetery, well, there's another mound over there, well, it doesn't exist anymore. So yeah, so these things can span generation after generation, being reinterpreted each time by each generation. Couple of interesting points about this. There's several interesting points about this landscape. One, it's on the edge of the previous Dorset ones that I've done up till now, and it's mentioned, Tarrant is mentioned in, I think, Ewan Minster or Ewan Courtney as the eastern boundary, and it has many of these long barrows that there's loads of them all around here. It is of some cultural significance in prehistory for the guys who lived here. And thirdly, there's a reference to a barrow called Thor's Berge, which means Thor's barrow, and that's enough. We've just been talking about Woden. Let's talk about Thor as well. Oh, we may as well. So, Thor was known as Thunor in Britain and England. That's his. The religions of the Norse and the Germans and the English weren't identical, but very, very close. We preferred to call him, the English, I say we, 1,000 years ago, preferred to call him Thunor, but some people did call him Thor. It was wildly popular in Norse territories, but I've no idea. We know so little about pre-Christian religion in England to really be able to tell much about them. Just literally names, a few carvings, things like that. And so we know from the Franks casket that certainly the Old English god Welland is very, very similar to the Norse. We can see from the carving there are parts of the Norse myth are in there, and this is the English version, an English carving. So we can make similarities, but so depictions we think are Woden. I'm talking about Woden a minute ago. In Norse mythology, he has only one eye. He plucks it out for the sake of finding the runes, and he makes that sacrifice. But in English carvings of Woden that we think of, carvings of Woden, it doesn't seem to be the case. He has only one eye. So there do seem to be differences. But Thor, certainly in Norse mythology, and we know there are similarities. In Norse mythology, he is a god that's popular because he fights, but he fights giants, and he does it as a public duty, you know. Well, he does it because he fancies it, but it's in reality is public duty, and that makes him popular. But because giants live outside our world and our domain and come in and cause trouble, can't be trusted. So anyway, so Falls Barrow is probably about 3 miles from here. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to do it till today because it's pretty cold and tiring. But anyway, we're coming down to the river Tarrant. So the boundaries, the waypoints, the ancient waypoints around the landmarks around Tarrant. This is one of them, the Tarrente, the Tarrant River, and there's 7 or 8 settlements along this river. It seems in Wessex that's very much a feature of naming villages as they make their way up the valley. But the charter says Vanen to Fildina Lena Upenda, and that means to the Fildine, which is the dean of the field, and field meant open space rather than what we call field today. The lane there, up end, so at the end or something like that. Vanan to Tarrente, not here, a bit further up, because it says after that Vanen and Lang Streames off Thana Ford, and this is the ford. So it says thence along stream to the ford, and that's where we are. After that it says thence east along Herapath, thence east along the Harepath to Little Wood, and that in Old English is Vanen est anlang Herepathes oth Littlen Wood, and that's where we're heading off now.